welcome everybody. Today is night 2, session 2, whatever, of our Ignite book club. And you guys are gonna have a nice red cover. Mine is blue. And so we're gonna go over chapters 5 through 8 tonight. And Sandra is gonna kick us off with chapters 5 and 6. And then Sandy's gonna be doing 7 and 8. And so the whole point of this is we need interaction and discussion. And so everybody has the book. So hopefully you've read it. If not, you can go back and get caught up. But this is a great opportunity. You have a lot of leaders on the call, a lot of experience. So you have any questions related to this material, please ask questions. Please dialogue with us. Please, we're here to help you, and also we learn every time as well. So we're on this journey together. So Sandra, over to you.
All right. So I don't really like having an agenda because Sandy and I were chatting, and we just kind of highlighted points throughout the chapter that kind of stood out to us, and then we kind of want to hear what stood out to everybody else and kind of like learn from each other. And so chapter 5 was the nuts and the bolts of essential rewards, and it's a pretty long chapter. I think it's longer than most of the chapters we've covered. And for me, being on essential rewards for almost 5 years, it didn't, like say anything that I didn't already know about essential rewards. Like I know it's a vital part of growing the business and stuff, but it made me slow down and think about all those members and how many times I've just kind of skipped over or not put as much time and energy talking about it to my new enrollments. And so this is what that chapter did for me. And so I highlighted a lot of stuff that I want to make sure, because she talks about how important your wording is in your closing, a bunch of stuff. And so the first thing in the chapter that stood out to me is you must use the products to teach the products. And so if we're not on essential rewards as leaders or growing our business, then we're not sending a very clear message to those that are below us. And so we have to be almost our own bulletin board of our own company. And it says you need to live the lifestyle to share it. And so that's something that I remember years ago, Mary saying, just take a picture of how you use the products and da-da-da. And I kind of got away from that. And so today and yesterday, I've just been, I might not use it in the next few weeks or whatever, but I never know when that conversation is going to come up with somebody. And I'm like, oh, to go back and start a conversation with them about or whatever. And then it goes in challenge, but I think it's a great way for new people that are enrolled to get started on swapping everything out. That way they're not overwhelmed in everything. Has anybody here done the Fearless Challenge?
I haven't.
No. I can't see everybody. I see Julianne saying no. So I thought that was pretty interesting. And then she talks about, essential rewards being an auto ship program, which essential rewards, the prime of Young Living, which is great. And then my husband and I are both on it on both accounts now, so we kind of get the double dipping points and get the rewards both ways now. So I'm just assuming that everybody here on essential rewards already.
Oh yeah.
Let me go to chat real quick so I can.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
It's at the bottom. So Mary says she gives the Fearless book to everybody, and I know some of my downline members are doing that as well right now, and I have some. I just haven't really dove into it. So everybody so far is on essential rewards. Nice. Okay, let me get back out to the camera. So, do we have any questions or comments so far about essential rewards?
So I wanted to ask a question.
Go for it, Julianne.
I might sound like Julianne. This is Mary, unless Julianne talked as well.
Go ahead, Mary.
No. My question is, so in the beginning, because this is geared towards people who are just starting their business. You know, this whole book is supposed to be for somebody just starting. When I first started with Young Living and I started teaching classes and stuff, I was very uncomfortable talking about essential rewards. Like, I didn't even bring it up. Like, I would teach a class and I talked about the starter kit. That was it. And then I panicked. And so talking about essential rewards was very uncomfortable for me personally. I was like, if they spend the money for a kit, how could they?
Their own.
And so it took me some time to get over my personal issues with whatever that was and my comfort level with, here, I can hear other, I'm going to mute everybody and then, okay. So I was uncomfortable, but one of the things I had listened to, I think I listened to like a Shannon Hudson call or something. And somebody said they did an enrollment with Essential Rewards with a 300 PV order at the time of sign up. And my mind was like, what? Like blown away. How is that possible? And so I made my own personal mission to figure out how to do that. And so I just sort of as a challenge to myself, like, how do I do this? I have no idea. And now when now it's super easy for me, but it's 5 years later. So going back, how did you guys overcome that? Or was it ever an issue for you to start talking about Essential Rewards to new
members? I'm still uncomfortable about it, but I know and I've learned more, and I'm working. This is something I'm really working on, because I think my thinking in the past has been they just spent $160, and if you don't have a flip kit on a product that they haven't seen, and then you're asking them to spend more money on more product that they haven't seen before, or they don't get to like walk away with right then. And so that's when I was going back to thinking about with it, and I think I'm more comfortable with that, and then bringing up Essential Rewards instead of just like, oh, they signed up. But a lot of my signups are all over the place because of our military affiliation, so I'm not always there in person or whatever. And so, but I think it was last week when we were talking about we're not selling them anything, we're like saving them from poison, and that's pretty much like stuck in my brain. And so I feel it's like an obligation of mine to tell them that, hey, we got all these other products and you can save money, by the way. And so and I don't know why I feel so uncomfortable, because I'm not a shy person whatsoever. But I think it's the amount of money, and that is, I think somebody brought it up last week too, that we assume that they can't afford it or they don't want to spend that much money on it. And that is something that we have to stop doing. Like, it's not my right to say what they can spend their money on or how much money they can spend on. So I'm almost like prejudging what they're capable of doing or handling at the moment. Nikki says, I've realized that when I began talking to people about oils, not a class, just conversation, I get too excited and I want to know it all, so I overkill. Anybody else feel like they do that?
So, hey, this is
no.
Sorry.
Did I get? I
So,
can't
hey,
see anybody again. Can y'all see me?
Yeah, you look great in this picture. Oh, you're back.
There we go.
So I wanted to say something real quick that ties into something we were talking about last week, which is scripts. So we talked about how people weren't necessarily comfortable using a script to just give their general presentation. I personally feel like we've hit onto something pretty good with our quote unquote script that we use to introduce Essential Rewards at the class, which is our okay, good, better, best 4-sheet thing that we'll publish again in Facebook, and you can always find it out there. But that little quote unquote script, that selling device, I feel like it takes a lot of the burden off of you trying to introduce Essential Rewards. You can literally just say, oh, and here's the script that I have to read talking about the best way to get your oils. And then you can go off of those 4 sheets. That's my suggestion.
Is that or is it only, like, does it only work if you're at an in-person class?
I don't think so.
You can use it like online.
Yeah, I mean they're visuals.
Graphics.
They're visual graphics that have words and images associated with them, so they speak to people, I think.
For me, when I'm teaching, it is so easy because I just hold up the slide and I kind of repeat what's on the slide and talk about it. And it gets a little mumbo jumbo and a little bit, like OGV, PV, ER, like I'm like, just bear with me, hang with me. I got to get through this just a little bit longer. But by the end, nearly every single person signs up with Essential Rewards. Everybody that signs up, because I just hit home on ER, and I do an example of, and I pick out people in the room, and I'll be like, and I have, as long as I have them, I bring the promos for the month and I have them on display. And then I just tell people, Young Living, as any other company out there, runs a monthly promotion, and, every month it's something different. And I'll give an example. Okay, I'm going to give you an example of the benefits of being on Essential Rewards. Okay, Sandra, you place a 300 PV order this month, and Jeremiah, you place a 300 PV order this month, and for whatever reason, they're the exact same order. I don't know why, but you two ordered the same products, and to the T, everything was the same. But Sandra, you decided you didn't really want to be part of Essential Rewards. You didn't want that, but Jeremiah said, I like a good deal, so I'm choosing Essential Rewards. And this is so I use people in the audience, and then I explained, okay, so Sandra, you're on a quick order. So you did 300 PV, you get all your stuff plus these 3 free items right here. Now Jeremiah, because he was on Essential Rewards, he got his 300 PV order plus they added this additional stuff, which was part of the ER only, and he got a rebate on the whole thing. And he's been doing ER for 4 months, so it's a 20% back. So he just got 20% of 300. He just got 60 points back for placing the exact same order that Sandra did, but he chose to be on ER. So I just use that as an example to show you the value in using Essential Rewards and why people, when they want to make these changes in their life, they can do this month by month, a little bit by little bit each month. And Essential Rewards is just the best way to do it. And so by the end,
at least they're pretty aware of what's going on. They're well aware of what they're doing or not doing. And so they tend to be on ER at the end.
Let me see we have some comment chat. I think the hardest thing right now is knowing who to invite to class, because I see all the memes all over Facebook about making fun of essential oil. So I don't know. That's a hurdle you're trying to jump over. This, Sam. Hi, Sam. I understand that too, but I also know how passionate I am about Essential Rewards or Young Living, and those same people that are posting those memes and stuff are going to come to you eventually down the road, and they're going to want to join your team or want to use oils. And so it's just something that you just kind of have to ignore and move past, because it's a lifestyle you're choosing to live, and they just don't understand it right now. And so just keep being yourself, be authentic to yourself. And maybe not reach out directly to them, but if they reach out to you, then you can invite them to your next upcoming class and everything. But don't shy back from being who you are on your social media page because of those types of posts and everything. Like most of my family members make fun of me, and I'm like, yeah, you need the oils more than anybody, so whatever. So I would just let that one go. But I wanted to hear from anybody else that what holds you back from, if it holds you back, I mean, what holds you back from just jumping in like Mary is confident in doing, from going ahead and sharing ER, like at your class or with a new sign up? Anybody?
Okay. I would always feel like that's where it turns salesy. And so there was, I think it was in Diamond Mines that I can't remember who I was watching, and she said, and it kind of just switched my brain into a new gear, that if you really care about the person, the time that you're being salesy is if you just sell them it. If you don't have them get on ER and help train them and educate them on how to look things up, and if you just let them leave with the kit and don't offer essential rewards, I feel like I was overwhelming people because I can have a lot of words spewing, and I try to go back to when I was just starting and Jeanette was throwing all these words out at me, and my head was just like, okay, yeah, not really understanding it. So I try to take it back to the simplest thing, and what they need to be concerned about, what we all need to be concerned about, is our health. And so if we really care about the person and our health, we don't want them to just have the 12 oils and a diffuser in the kit and walk out the door. There's so many other products that will be for their benefit, and it's because we care for them and we're concerned about their health and their wellness. So that kind of helped me shift my thinking around.
I like that. And we know for ourselves how well the products work. So like my word that sticks in my head now is like, I have an obligation to share with everybody else. Like, so like it's my it's my duty now to share with everybody else. So anybody else want to share anything? I can't see the chat and the camera. So if there's something in chat, somebody else can read that out loud. And get notifications from chat. So, one night stand. Whew, we don't want no one night stands, do we? Okay. So Loretta says, I love sharing about ER. I used to be afraid. By stressing the benefits, it's a win-win for them. It's the best part for me. I like that. It is a win-win for everybody. And so one thing that it says in the book is, I'm gonna highlight it if you think, get back to it. So it says there's no rank up. So on the business part of it, there's no rank up without essential rewards. And then she goes into talking about like, you can teach all the classes you want, and you can sign up 50 people, but if nobody essentially gets on essential rewards, then you're not really going anywhere. You just kind of have to start over each week and keep getting people to enroll. So essential rewards is the soul of your business. It's what keeps it alive. It's how you achieve each rank. It's a lifestyle training instead of a starter kit training. Don't train the starter kit, train the lifestyle. That's how you rock this thing. And that just goes back to, Samantha sharing your own lifestyle on your social media page and everything like that. And I think that's why I don't ever feel like I've sold anything, because I've just always shared, or our dogs or whatever. And so I think that is great. I like how she says, don't teach the starter kit. I know we train or we teach about it, and that's like the starting conversation, but then going forward, it's a lifestyle change, just like any other diet or keto or whatever other people get on. Those don't last, like for a lifestyle, but Young Living is something that no matter what stage you're at in your life, that you can keep going on and growing with. And then it goes to follow up, which we talked about last week. And I think that I admitted that's probably one of my weakest things is follow up. And I know a lot of us has reached out to Young Living and got our list. And I had 2 calls this week with some of our upline, the Schulers and Janet Becker, and got a hold my list of every single person that's dropped off of my team since I started 5 years ago, and it's over 300 people. And I can't help but feel like most of that is due because of not following up with people. And so I'm taking it a little bit personal, and it's a little bit hard of a pill to swallow for me. This week I've really been hustling and bustling to get a better follow-up game. But if I'm not mistaken, I think that most of the people on the call last week admitted that that is kind of their weakest point too. Has anybody figured out that that's weak point for them, or do they have something that you always follow up with, or are you working on something new to start following up from this point forward? I know Julianne and I have been communicating a lot this week about following up with our teams. Do you have anything you want to share?
Not really. I reached out to my leaders where a lot of the inactives are, and they have said that they're going to follow up with them. And I kind of came up with an email or something that we can follow, which will be good to give them then kind of some sense of like I can still help them. I'm not helping them by doing the work for them or reaching out to these people. I'm helping them just by supporting them and maybe giving them some ideas on how to reach out to the people. And so they've been very responsive to that. But other than that, it's the same. It's like, oh crap, that's my mistake. And so really in my email, it's just, you know, my deepest apologies. Like this is probably my fault. And I think it's due to education. I didn't educate them on different products or even maybe on the starter kit. And so I'm just apologizing for that. And we'll see. I haven't done anything with it yet, though. So I can't give you any feedback there.
Well, we're working towards it. It's in our headlight, you know, in our focus now. And I know Nikki said that on chat that was a weak point for her too. And I think she's working on going back and following up with people as well. Let me see. Hold on. If I could start over, like, and follow up, I would simply use the Schulers posted a new member checklist. Have you guys seen that on, if you're in the core, it's in the core. And I think Mary shared it. Did you share it the other day, Mary, on Four Seasons, or did you comment on their page? I don't know if you shared it with Four Seasons or not, but they have it.
I'll just jump in real quick. We have taken it, and what we had been doing is we had our own checklist, like 3 months with Four Seasons, and every time we had somebody enroll a new member, we sent them a congratulations text and an email with the link to do that checklist. So what we've done, like I took Brenda's new member checklist, and so we got rid of ours and we replaced it with hers, and it also includes a wellness consult. And so now it's 2 documents. And so now we've updated our email as of yesterday, I think it was. We updated our email and our text to include those and to link back to the Schulers website. So if they update it, then the document should stay updated. And what I have done just today, I mailed out 7 or 8.
Right. What I should say is their new member checklist doesn't exist on their website by itself.
Not yet.
Not yet, but we have it sort of embedded on our website
for now.
For now, and it's linked in these new emails and new texts.
But the wellness consult,
So
Okay.
the wellness consult is on their
There.
website.
and so it's linked to there. Anyway, so all those are going as of today, I think, are starting to go out. And how I look at these, look at them as a third-party resource. Like hey, like you just signed up and this is a checklist I have to follow. So we're going to do it. And it's not me personally trying to get into your wellness business. You know, like it's me like, okay, this is what we do. Now that you're a new member, this is what we do. And so I'm going to go through these things with you. And it takes it off of you personally. You're just filling out a checklist with them, you know? And so that's how I like our graphics when it talks about ER as well. It takes the pressure off of me. I'm just telling you what the graphic says, and it's not personal.
Right. So if I could go back to 2014 and start over, which when I started, I didn't know that I was doing a business. I was just using the oils like crazy. And I would absolutely follow up with every single person. And like she states in this book, she does it 3 times. I would start doing that from the beginning, because basically, like I just shared with you, on my personal list, it's not my personal enrollments, but it's over my team as a whole. 300 and something members is a lot of members. That's a lot of people. And if I had followed up with them, maybe even half of them or 1/4 of them would still be on my team right now, and I could be growing forward. I would, you know, like I could, there's no telling where I would be with 300 something people, or even, you know, 150 people still being active on my team. And so like, that's why I'm saying I'm taking it personal, because I didn't follow up with them. I don't know some of them, but I'm going back, like Julianne stated, and I'm reaching out to them. But if I could start over, that is probably the number one thing besides teaching one-on-one classes that I would start doing from the beginning, is follow up. And I think that is where a lot of people start feeling where they're salesy or they're pushy, and everybody, Eric Worre, Sarah Harnish, everybody in Young Living talks about like a person can only say no 7 times or whatever. But in this chapter, she talks about how she just does it 3 times. Well, after 3 times, they know like you're the person, and when they decide, I guess, they want to join, then they'll reach out to you, and then you can go from there with them. Because that's always a question I have, like, well, how many times do you know, all those types of things. So I like the advice that she gave in the book, and I feel comfortable with what she's saying, doing that myself. Mary, you look like you want to say something. I have to go to different screens because I'm on my phone. Nikki is on the core too. I'm really enjoying that, Nikki. Yep, and the book in the list. Mary says, but remember, statistics are 1/3 just by kit, 1/3 order enough to stay active, and 1/3 will do ER. So there's always be a certain number that will go inactive no matter what you do. Yeah. Back and then be in the habit moving forward of doing the follow-ups the way that they should be done, because I don't think that I'm doing them correctly and consistently. And so that's going to be like follow-up consistency and teaching your 101s is then I was going to say selling the ER, but I don't want to use the word selling, but educating about the importance of ER and training them on the lifestyle. So I'm here. Does anybody want to chime in? No? Okay. If you're feeling uncomfortable picking up the phone, remember that you're there to serve them. If it's someone you've never met, simply ask them for a conversation, or if you can Facebook friend them. And Mary is always talking about that, how she meets people and she adds them into her phone immediately, or she'll say, text me or call me, or she'll add them on Facebook or whatever. And so you always have a connection with them and you don't lose that, line of communication and stuff. So that's important. Also, when you're building, I think we're supposed to have a list of 100 people at all times that we're kind of communicating with. And so that is another way of saying communication with those types of people. And then when we're sharing our lifestyle on our social media, we never know what they're dealing with or whatever, and we might post something that triggers something. And like, I posted shampooing my puppy the other day, and this lady that I haven't talked to in a while, she's on my team and she's on ER, and she's like, I didn't even know they had a pet line. And so she's like texting me immediately, like, while I'm still giving my puppy a bath. And now she's like, oh, I've got to order all this stuff because we have a puppy and she stinks and da 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 da. And so just sharing my lifestyle, then her ER order is even higher this month than what it has been, because she figured out new products that Living has for her. So then we talked about how many times you pursue everybody. And she talks about, and I think that's what we all get scared of, is hurting the relationships if we're too salesy or too pushy. And so on page 55 in the Red Book, it goes a little bit more detail about that if you want to read over that, and talks about how to follow up and then what you say and everything. And then the do's and don'ts of how to kick up a follow-up conversation and what not to say, because you don't want to push them away and then have them avoid you. So do we have any questions or comments on follow-up or ER? Did everybody else highlight like their whole book like I did, or like notes? Alrighty, we'll move on to chapter 6. So the must-have tips for class day. Has everybody here hosted their own 101 class in person? You gotta shake your head, or Nikki says, I got you, Nikki, I understand. She says she's working up to that. Tina says yes. Jeremiah, have you? Nice. All right. So she talks about how important it is. And I remember when Mary and Josh helped me teach my first 101 class when we were stationed at Moody Air Force Base. And we did exactly what she talks about. We had one table for like the starter kit, one table that had a clipboard, and you put everybody sign in their information and contact information. And then we had like laptops. I think we had 2 or 3 that day to like anybody that wanted to sign up. Then we had it like going or whatever. And it was so easy the way that flowed. And everybody kind of just grabbed somebody and was working with them after the 101 presentation. And I think everybody that came to class that day ended up signing up for my 101 class, which isn't always the case. But we were very new area, and so a lot of people were very interested in the oils, and our classes tended to be bigger there than what my classes have been since I've left there. And so I like what she says about having all the dues to get your classes started, and have the starter kit on hand with the caps off and ready to pass around. And then just, Mary used to always like take styrofoam and put lemon on it, and so it was kind of a visual for people, talking about like the power of lemon in your body and your body of toxins. And I think visuals are important. I'm a big visual person. So also it says have the Essential Rewards promos for that month there. And that's something that I need to work on too. And another place you can get that information is on the Vital 180. They have a ton of stuff. And I know Frank and Mary always make up things, or Mary will share the little posters from all of the other oil teams around, so you can have those. Some of those have other logos from other teams on them. Do you recommend doing that, or do you recommend like, how do we know if those are our upline or if they're with somebody else's team?
The graphics I share are shared in the Platinum Mingle group. And so although they may be branded by other people, they're free to share. And so they share them there so other people can share them.
Okay.
So absolutely, you can, whatever I post, you can share, unless I explicitly say not to share, which that's usually a rare non-compliant post, but normally everything I share is shareable. I do, for our classes, I tend to print up either the graphic from Vital 180 or just directly from Young Living. That's typically what I.
Okay.
Because if you want it to be, from a duplication standpoint, you don't want to make it hard. So they all have access to Vital 180. So that's a good way for us.
Yeah. And they're pretty good about having it posted like immediately and everything too.
Mm-hmm.
So. All right. So I know it's Sandy needs to teach and her classes or her chapters are a little bit shorter, but the ER was a little bit longer. And I thought this was good advice. It says, if you're just starting this business, take your checks and put it in your gas tank. The most important thing for you to be doing is sharing the oils. It's more important than any other investment in your business. And so if we're not sharing the oils, then we're not going any further. So that's the number one thing that we need to focus on is sharing and teaching 101s. And she recommends teaching 4 to 6 classes a month. And then for every 3 101 classes she teaches a specialty class. And so that's where I am also dialing back and kind of getting rid of the stuff that's taken my focus away and focusing on just my 101 classes or my one-on-ones with people. And so she says, even as a diamond, she still teaches that many classes a month. So keep it simple, script, kit, and humans. Put a lot of time and effort in things that can be copied by your leaders. The most powerful tool you have is duplication. And that's one thing that no matter what phone call you're on or what Zoom call or training you're in or conference you're at, they're always going to talk about duplication. So we have some more comments down here. Nikki, not being in compliance, the compliance team is actually really, really friendly. And I don't know if you were on last week and Gina shared a story about that. They will just reach out to you if you're not compliant and they will help you with wording or ask you to delete it or help you get it compliant. So the most thing to remember about being compliant is just not to diagnose. Like, we're not doctors, so we can't diagnose and don't use like disease words. If you go on Pinterest or you can even Google it, there is hot word sheets to not use. And so I would just kind of look over those and get familiar with those if you're worried about that. And then she asked, can anyone tell me how to overcome someone who says they buy oils elsewhere? And when I ask them, they say they're 100%. How does she redirect when they're saying that those oils are 100% natural? Anybody else answer that for her? Mary is saying, explain the seed to seal and that the oils are, does it go off? Cosmetic industry, so minimally regulated. They can pretty much put whatever label they want on those bottles. That is very true. That's why they're sold everywhere these days. And Nikki, if you want to PM me later today or tomorrow, then I can go into more detail with you on that and can give you some scenarios of how I've handled that situation in the past. All righty. You're welcome. So I'm going to go ahead and hand it over to Sandy. I just want to read one more thing. It says, stop looking for leaders. Simply end each class with saying, would you like to learn how to get your oils for free? And I think what Frank and Mary were talking about a while ago, and then end your class with that, and then use the pages that they have to go into that. And I think that will make it a lot easier for all of us to go straight into Essential Rewards without kind of holding ourselves back. Going to be reviewing that document as well, because I think Frank said he is going to share it again on the page. So, all right, Sandy.
Okay.
Is she on there?
I'm
Oh.
muting myself. Yay. Baby step. Thanks, Sandra. Okay, chapter 7 is what if they don't listen to me? And this person, how much they could use the oils and how much you want to help them. I get very zealous about help. I mean, the first chapter of, or the first paragraph really spoke to me, and it's from her book that's not released yet. I think it's going to be out at convention, called Unstuck. And I'll have to say that's where I kind of feel like I am a little bit stuck. I don't know if y'all are like this, but it seems like the business kind of, I have some like really big woohoo kind of months, and then they're kind of like a kind of sophomore slump kind of thing going on. But there are a lot of reasons that people aren't appearing to listen to you. And 2 examples I have of someone that I thought would never, I mean, there's some very strong no's that I've been given, and both of those people have since joined me. It's been, I became a member in 2016, but I didn't share with a single soul until the very end of December of that year. And that person signed up and enrolled and did ER for $300 more. So I got this little check from Young Living. I was like, maybe I should share this more. Between that and then oils actually working, I thought, my friends were a little cuckoo. So I really felt like a lot of people were not listening to me, but I was, and I still to this day, I'll still post some things and I'll think, oh, she's never going to listen to me. But then you'll be somewhere and you'll hear that person, either they'll post something on social media that you've told them, or you'll hear them in conversation and you think, oh my goodness, they are listening. So we need to be very careful with how we present things and to just keep being authentic and genuine, and that I think is the most attractive thing for people to truly listen. One of the things she said, that they legitimately are probably busy. We are so torn in so many directions, and if you're torn like that, and think about how you were before you started using Young Living, we didn't know we needed them. I mean, I had no clue, and that's where they are. That's the place that they're at. They don't know they need them. They think it's crazy. It's not something they're used to. So just patiently keep, posting and keep reaching out to them. I mean, I think I have reached out to people way more than the 7 to 8 times, over the last 2 years. And, I never do it in a way to damage the relationship, but they know, I've become a crazy oil lady. And so I'm okay with that. I'm good with that. In the game plan, she talks about, that's the thing that I think I had to learn, was how to remove the emotion from it. Like, just because they don't jump on your team doesn't mean they don't like you. You still have that friendship. So, and she says too, that if you do not emotionally detach yourself from the sale of the kit, this business will eat you alive. So if you're taking it personal that someone didn't, buy a kit from you the first time you talked to them about it, or even the 10th time you talked to them about it, don't take it personal. So yeah, removing. Okay, y'all, I'm on my iPad and I'm like an iPad rookie. And so I see these little chats and I only get one sentence and then it disappeared. I don't know where they go. So if y'all see these chats, I'm sorry, I'm not ignoring you. I don't know where to read them. Does anybody else on an iPad that could help me? No. Okay, Mary, if you see it.
You just have to, there should be if you touch your screen once, then things should come at the bottom and it should say participants.
I see
Now
participants.
click that. And then chat should come up.
Okay. Ah, you're a genius. Look at that. Oh, yay, removing.
That's what I kept having to do, yeah.
Okay, yay. So can y'all still see me and I can leave that up? Is this good? can't see anybody, but anyway. Okay. So, and then the other thing too that I thought was so good was we need to confidently ask people about oils. Share your story, which everyone, find a compliant way to share your story and why you are, sticking with Young Living. And then have confidence to share that with them. It says, without confidence, you're dead in the water. People will only follow what they want for themselves. They will not follow fear. So if you're like fearfully approaching people in a very timid, kind of, fearful way, we can sense that a mile away. So become confident in yourself and in your business and in the essential oils and, all the other great products, and be willing to share it. I outlined almost everything in this chapter because it really did speak to me. I had been in some MLMs before, and I had always heard that the no's, it takes like 8 to 10 no's before you get a yes. So I don't feel like it's that I get that many no's before I get a yes, but to just keep trying and kind of tilling the soil out there and working at it, and don't just expect it to land in your lap overnight. Sometimes I think when we're viewing others, it seems like it was that easy for them. But if you really get to know that look like they have, quote unquote, overnight success, have really been working at it, deal with that, being consistent, because like I said, I kind of do this. Yeah, I don't know. I keep distractions and things in my life. I keep our grandkids, and so it gets a little crazy around here at times. But yeah, MLMs can be a turn off, and the whole pyramid scheme and all that drives me crazy. But hey, just keep doing what you're doing and be encouraged by. There's so many great stories on the internet that you can read from the different diamonds. You can access that. I forget what it's called. The 12 Days of Diamonds, maybe. I don't know. But anyway, go and, find a mentor or just read stories and find encouragement that way. Saturation. We live in a really small town, and we're in Nashville, Georgia, and it feels like everybody is doing Young Living when I know that's not true. And one of the things that really drove that, and I would say a good 80% of the people I talked to had never heard of Young Living. Y'all, we're in a town, there's only 4,000 people. There's 18,000, I think, in the whole county. But, that day, I don't know how many people I talked to. But yeah, 80, maybe even 90% said they never heard of it. And that just cracked me up. It was just confirmation that, okay, it's not saturation. It's the example that there's 300 million people in the United States. If every person in the world in Young Living lived in the U.S. in a room of 300 people, 4 would have a starter kit. So that's kind of oh, hey, Jeremiah, you're my local Harvey's store manager. Wow, nice to meet you. That's so cool. Yeah, Nashville, Georgia. Of course, I can't see you now because I got this chat thing up. Maybe your face isn't on here anyway. I don't know. But anyway, nice. So yeah, it says people are everywhere. We went and saw Sarah Harnish up in Atlanta, and she cracked me up because she's like talking to everybody. And I kind of do that. You can find, it's amazing how you can find people to talk to about oils. I talk to a lot of people on airplanes. You're like kind of captive audience there. You hear their story, they hear yours, and you give them samples or whatever. Oh, it's Nettie's husband. Oh my goodness. I'm so clueless. Okay, I need more oils. But yeah, people are everywhere. And her big line that really stuck with me was talk to the humans. We come in contact with people every single day. We just need to talk to them. And every single person you see has some sort of need or some wellness issue. So just, talk to them. Talk to the humans. She does talk about fear and how you need to overcome that. That's the big thing. For Megan, fear of rejection is a big issue for me. This is on page 69. And then people have more than once said to me, I don't want to sell to people. So I think that's kind of what we can all that on the t-shirt. So we need to undo all that we think we know about sales and learn to educate. That's the huge difference. And we already touched on that a little bit about how we need to just reach people where they are, keep sharing, keep having our classes. Go back to maybe you're in a lull right now. I'm talking to myself. Go back to what was working for you when you felt like things were kind of going in the right direction. If it was one-on-ones, which that's kind of my jam, or even I had so many friends through the military that we just reached out to each other. We're all kind of the same boat age-wise, and so most of our kids were empty nesters and have grandkids, but there's a lot of different health concerns that we can help each other with. And then the other thing is to don't give up. I mean, if it takes 10 years to reach diamond, keep sticking with it. It can be I think it can kind of get lonely at times. You need to make sure that your people that are around you are people that you want to be around. Does that make sense? So I think that's been the most encouragement for me is the core group. The first few people that I reached out to are close friends of mine, and that's can be lonely in that they're not physically in the same state as me. Yeah, people are everywhere, and I like dogs. Sandra, I like dogs too. Hey, and dogs need oils too, but most dogs have people attached to them. So that's a good way to strike up conversation. Okay, now y'all are gonna laugh. Chapter 8 is strategy. Someone wants to sign up. Now what? So who remembers the first time you signed someone up? The absolute fear was struck to the very core of me. Yes, I love Young Living events. They're the best. I'm like, anytime there's anything anywhere around this. I went to one in Savannah that was great. It was from another team. And then beauty school, oh my word. If you're ever going again, it's so awesome. But yeah, and you see, they're like the happiest places on earth. Disney has that. But I think Young Living is. So learn how to sign someone up. Make sure people know. One of the first things you need to teach them is how to sign someone up. Because I think in the early days, especially when it's brand new to you, it's going to be pretty brand new to your peers and the people you're around. So you need to be able to be ready to set the world on fire and get them signed up. She says there's 2 mistakes you can make. Young Living in Disney, that would be like the dream team. Sign me up for that. Why don't they have? Oh, that's where we need to have convention. 2 mistakes we can make when we're building, and I don't know that I really paid attention to any of this. Wait a minute. It's at Disney? Mary, tell us more. What is the Empower event? Can we take that? Can we have a little commercial? I don't know how to get your face back.
It's the Young Living
chat. It's all about chat.
It's December 7th. Saturday, December 7th, and it's hosted at Disney. I haven't bought my ticket, but I'm going to be back. It's at one of the.
I want to do that.
Yeah. I got it. I'll post I shared the link once, so I'll share it again.
Okay, share it again. Man, that would be awesome. Okay, so 2 mistakes that she says we can make is if you build too deep or too wide. So I have read the game plan, which I think a lot of you might have read that. I don't know. Seems like most of you were in that book club too. But the way she would do it is she would sign up everyone under her. And then when she called it pops. When they pop, that means that they sign someone up. Then you start kind of making that a leg. And you you've got someone that's on fire, someone who's going to be doing the 100 PV a month, so you can build a leg underneath them. One other thing I thought was really cool that she did was she made sure that like her sisters and her mom, those are some of the people in her organization that are her personal roles. So she's blessing them by putting people underneath them. She said, you want those people to be blessed as as you're growing in rank. Let's see. So yeah, you only need 6 legs to get to Royal Crown Diamond. So hey, you could hit